If there was one time I figured I could cosplay as a Stormtrooper, it'd have been during the Power of the Force 2 era of Kenner. Why? Because they're so barrel-chested and super bulky. Hey toy fans, so I'm here with another review. This is kind of an old one. I've technically already opened this a long time ago, but it's been up in my closet for years. It was something I never sold that I kind of sat on the fence about whether I wanted to keep it or not. And I happen to really like this set. And it's some of the old Power of the Force 2 stuff from Kenner. So when Kenner was kind of making their way into Hasbro and Hasbro was still putting out Star Wars stuff with the Kenner logo on it, that's kind of these toys. And the first wave of stuff we got, you know, they were like really strong and muscular and kind of over the top. Well, they had several beast packs. They had a Jawa and a very buff Han. They had a Jawa and a Ronto. And then they had the Dewback and Sandtrooper. Now, I have actually, my Jawa I kept. My Ronto I think I have given to my kid at this point. But I kept this one forever. And, you know, I was like, I don't need it to live in the box. So I kind of was like, you know what, let's open it up, check it out, and, you know, just really decide on you know, if it's something I want to keep, A, where I'm going to display it, B, but really just kind of to go back and get some of this retro madness that we had when these things came out and really kind of look them over and look at the beauty and the detail in these things. Now, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe now. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted to anything that comes from me to you. Like the video and comment down below. I like commenting back to you. What do you say? Let's get into it. Alright guys, this is a Star Wars Power of the Force 2 Dewback and Sandtrooper. And what's interesting is that this actually, like, even though it says Power of the Force, this was supposed to be a continuation of the Power of the Force line that came out back in 1984. However, at this point, they have stopped that. This is no longer really in the hands of Kenner that much anymore, even though it's got the Kenner logo there. This was considered the Power of the Force 2. And this was kind of Hasbro, I guess, still trying to reach out and get that Kenner love aspect, because at this point, they had already absolved Kenner. So, this is technically Hasbro, but it's still under the Kenner licensing. And we get these wonderful barrel-chested toys that came out for 1995 to, oh, so on until they finally changed the molds and made them a little bit thinner. Okay. Now, this is part of the special edition trilogy. And we know that these movies had come out recently at this point with this particular line. And we get, of course, that ongoing green. I think the original cards were like red and orange. This time we're getting green. And that signature Darth Vader up there at the top. Of course, we get our Star Wars Power of the Force logo here. And we get this nice picture of the toy itself. I happen to dig this picture a lot. It's very simple. It's just got a sand ground, and you got all the packaging stuff in the back, but it works for what we're doing. On top of getting a picture of the toy, we also get an open window where we can see the figure. Yeah, I felt that was kind of unneeded, but that was something that they did, and it works in my opinion. Going off to the top up here, we get, of course, another picture of that toy. And this time it looks like the toy's got, you know, a little bit different pose, and it's taken from the other side. And then we get to see a feature here. The head raises and jaw chomps when tail is moved. Going to the side, we get, you know, another picture of that toy, the same picture in the front. And this was a Kmart toy that I gotten for $13.99 back in the day, so kind of expensive. Let's see, we'll go to this side, we get another continuation of the same thing. On the bottom, a continuation of the top. So top, bottom, and the two sides are all the same. And they pretty much carry the same picture ongoing. Now, let's go to the back. On the back, we get a little file card here, which I like it. It's got a photo of the Sandtrooper and the Dewback from the movie. We get some stats here about the Dewback. We get, of course, a picture of the toys, and this time they are separate from one another, so we can see the rider and the Dewback away from one another. We get some cross-sell art of other things that came out in the line during this time. And then we've got this, the fan club Jedi point system here, which I'm trying to remember if that was not actually the Jedi point system. That was just join the fan club, and I did join the fan club. It was pretty cool. You got the Star Wars Insider. You got a shirt, which I think I've lost my shirt by now. I really dug it though. But yeah, that's the box. That's the box. And it's not gonna tell us anything else about this. We need to get this one out and get to playing. Okay, and of course, straight out of the box, we get our Dewback here, and it's pretty massive. Like it's a pretty beefy figure. And of course, you've got that tail where you can move its tail, and it does this like neck forward biting thing. I love that, and it's one of those. It's overly posed. It's set to where it is very overposed. It has a lot of nice green in here with some airbrushing and some stencil work on there. The scales on this thing are just maddening beautiful. They are absolutely some of the most gorgeous sculpting I have seen for, you know, these Dewbacks. And this is one of those that, you know, I really would like to get the Black Series, since I've been really getting into those. I'd like to get the Black Series Sandtrooper and Dewback there, but, you know, not being able to afford it, this has come in as a very nice kind of Dewback display that I could have for the time being. This is a really incredible piece if you ever come across one. Now, with our Dewback, we of course get our barrel-chested Stormtrooper here. Now, just run down articulation on these guys. Back when these first came out, most of them had a waist articulation, but this one does not. They do have that swivel head, those swivel arms that we all love, those swivel thighs, but all the Rider editions usually have the swivel knees. Now, these hinge knees are there to allow it to ride on top of the Dewback. Now, in this case with him, it doesn't quite sit quite that well, so it's more like hinging the legs out just enough so it can kind of ride out like this, maybe pull the knees back enough where it can sit up on top like that. And it works. For the most part, it works. You can have the Stormtrooper kind of grab these stirrup pieces here, which they do fairly well, or even have them grab the reins here, which I like, and I like to usually pull the reins back this way. Now, with that Stormtrooper, you also get the survival pack here, and this is a lot like the survival pack that we had with the original Sandtrooper, though there is some new resculpting here, and it houses a little peg here, and this peg, you know, let me bring it up so I can show you. So this little peg here, or this hole, is for the peggable part of this rifle. So the rifle can ride on his backpack, and he can carry this off into action. And what's interesting about these, instead of having just a peg, they've got a slat that just locks right into place, and it sets against the body, so it's got kind of a plastic piece here that sits against the body that keeps it from jostling around too much. And there's not a lot of articulation that's hindered by that. There's a little bit that's hindered by this paladin piece here, and that's, I don't know if I'm saying, a pauldron piece, and that's just because it kind of sits in the way, but it's not too bad. And then of course you've got the electrical rod, or the driving stick, and this is something that can fit in his hand this way and carry it around that way, or if you wanted to, you could have them carried around this way as well. And of course, all together, this thing would sit up much like this. Kind of get the reins in his hands. Maybe you can hold on to this one, or actually he would use this stick right here. We'll bring it up, put it in his hands backwards like that, so he can, maybe we'll just do the stick like that. Yeah. Oh, he just fell off again. And it would kind of ride something like this. Yeah. Now with the Dewback, let's take a look at him a little bit more. With the Dewback, you really only have a few areas of true articulation. You've got each arm and leg are all articulated, but it is pre-posed, so there's not a lot of posability with them. You get articulation in the leg, or I'm sorry, not the leg, but the tail is the piece that activates the mouth. So there's really no other articulation other than really the legs here. But it works in this instance. It really works. And the sculpt on the mouth is just, I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Look at those teeth and that tongue. This is a cool piece. Now, this piece has been out for years. And honestly, if you're going to find them, you can almost hit up any convention and find it there. Oftentimes, you can look on eBay, find them there. I am starting to see that these are starting to become less commonplace now as they were probably about 10 years ago, which is interesting because, you know, people were scrambling to get rid of this and try to make some sort of profit or at least get their money back, and now they're starting to demand a little bit more premium. So if you happen to go out finding these, good luck with the toy hunt. This episode of Teddy Ray Gun was sponsored by Marvin Dog Media. To learn more about Marvin Dog Media, visit www.marvindogmedia.com. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below to let YouTube know that you like what I'm making. And be sure to hit that bell notification so you get updates to future content.